Straight ahead, no planes, just trains and automobiles for thousands of traveling Americans this Thanksgiving.
And talented Thai trunks.
Good morning from CBS News in New York. This is Up to the Minute. I'm Troy Roberts.
And I'm Cheryl Atkinson. In the news this morning, day 5 of the American airline flight attendant strike, and thousands of people will be thankful if they ever make it to their holiday destinations. The airline now says only about a third of its flights will get off the ground this week. Despite that grim statistic, the company claims it will not cave in to the flight attendant demands.
With the sole exception of our competitors, this strike is a lose, and lose again proposition for everyone.
American Airlines CEO Robert Crandall says the strike is costing his company $10 million a day. But he warns there will be plenty of hardship to go around, with permanent job losses for both union and non-union employees.
Hey, you! We're on strike! Bobby Crandall, take a hike! Hey!
Sunday, the flight attendants union called on President Clinton to invoke a federal law providing for binding arbitration.
But I do not think a presidential emergency board is the right answer. Instead, I suggest you suspend your strike, which will put our valued customers back on our airplanes.
This is a substantial move towards settling this strike, and we were again rebuffed by the company that would rather incur millions of dollars worth of losses than negotiate. It follows a pattern of disrespect for AAL passengers, stockholders, and flight attendants that began over a year ago.
Well, guess what? Your flight is going.
As for the flying public, try though they might to understand, the frustration level seems pretty high.
I think they could have been a lot more upfront with us on Thursday, and if they had been, it would have saved a lot of people a tremendous amount of hassle.
I understand it's a dispute with the airline and their employees, but it's very sad to inconvenience so many people.
And I'm no closer to Chicago than when I started, although they have been trying hard. I have to admit, everyone's been very nice. But
the flight attendants plan to go back to work after the holiday weekend. Meanwhile, the airline is training replacement workers, so it's unclear how many strikers will get their jobs back. And if the company looks to be suffering, Crandall says they may be down, but don't count them out yet.
We will continue to hire replacement workers. We will gradually rebuild the airline. And at some point, within the next 60 days or so, we'll be back to where we were before it all started.
American says it plans to concentrate on serving travelers at the main hubs, including New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, Fort Worth, Miami, and San Juan. Empty seats on other airlines will be harder and harder to find as the week goes on.
Also in the news this morning, a deadly accident in Massachusetts. Authorities say they believe a free-falling skydiver slammed into a small plane, sending it into a tailspin. The plane crashed, killing the 4 people on board. The parachutist survived. In New Orleans, a shooting spree left 5 people dead. Police say a man murdered his girlfriend, her daughter, and their 4-month-old twin girls before he killed himself. A friend said the man was afraid his girlfriend was having an affair.
In Humble, Texas, a pregnant policewoman has lost her fight for desk duty. 31-year-old street patrol woman Bonnie Hyde wanted a temporary reassignment until her baby is born. At 2 months pregnant, she says she can't perform her dangerous and awkward patrol duties. She pleaded for compassion from city officials, saying, "I don't know what they expect me to do, go on welfare?" But the city plainly ruled she's off the payroll as long as she's off the beat.
Overseas, Irish Prime Minister Albert Reynolds says the window for compromise with the IRA must be seized before it closes. Reynolds and British Prime Minister John Major will hold crucial talks next week on peace in Northern Ireland. British Sky News correspondent Sophie Decker reports.
In the last few weeks, there's been more talk about peace in Northern Ireland than at almost any time in the past 20 years. The Irish Taoiseach, Albert Reynolds, in London for a television interview today, seems to be on a mission to sell Dublin's version of the peace initiative to the British public. He believes there's now a better chance of a lasting settlement than ever before.
We believe that there is a mood there, a historic opportunity there, a window of opportunity to go for a permanent cessation of violence that's real. Not just a temporary ceasefire, just a permanent cessation of violence. We believe that mood is there, and John Major and I will work day and night to try and produce the formula that will bring that about.
John Major has put Northern Ireland at the top of his political agenda, but it's a high-risk strategy. And he's received a clear warning from the leader of the Ulster Unionists, James Molyneux. He says British and Irish diplomats are shamefully exploiting the desire for peace, creating a level of instability which hasn't been seen for 2 decades. That wary attitude towards Mr Major's quest for peace is echoed by Mr Molyneux's party colleague, John Taylor.
Well, of course, there is a great desire for peace here in Northern Ireland, but not peace at the price of surrendering to the IRA. And, of course, the pan-nationalist front, that is the SDLP, the IRA, and now the Dublin government, are using this threat that if we don't agree to their terms, the violence will increase.
And with the prospect of more Tory backbench rebellions over the coming year, the Prime Minister's slender majority in the Commons is dependent on the goodwill of the Unionists. Sophie Decker, Sky News.
In Italy this weekend, voters widely rejected the mainstream parties in favor of candidates on the far right and the far left. Neo-fascist Alessandra Mussolini, the granddaughter of World War II dictator Benito Mussolini, got enough votes to force a runoff mayoral election in Naples. The poor results for Italy's Christian Democrats and Socialists highlights the impact of the widespread political corruption scandal.
Today marks the 30th anniversary of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. While there are some too young to remember the president and that dark day in American history, for millions of others, it's a day they'll never forget. CBS News correspondent Bill Plant reports.
Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans.
Here I am right here, see? And here's the president being sworn in down here.
That new generation of Americans is getting on in years now, but for retired House Speaker Tip O'Neill, a personal friend of John F. Kennedy, the memories of those 1,000 days are still fresh and alive.
We had a handsome young fellow who grew in politics, who was a son of a very, very wealthy man, and how he had the care and the love and the affection to do better for all of America.
The Cold War was at its height during President Kennedy's term of office, and he took a symbolic stand at the conflict's front line.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
He stood at the Berlin Wall and said there'll always be a Berliner. He showed himself to be a man of dignity, a man of courage, a man of fight, a man whose word, by listening to him, you could trust and you could believe him.
At the Kennedy Museum in Boston, another surviving member of that new generation, former personal aide and friend David Powers, still works to make sure that the Kennedy legacy lives on.
Today and tomorrow, we shall miss him, and we'll never know for sure how different the world might have been.
Imagine playing beautiful melodies the moment you touch the keyboard. You'd be the life of the party. Now you can. The revolutionary Play the Piano Overnight by Patty Carlson, the amazing home video course, guarantees you'll play beautiful music the very first time you sit down. The secret is Patty's incredible shortcut method that makes playing any keyboard as simple as dialing a telephone. There's never been anything like it. Even if you've never read music or played a note, you'll be playing beautiful music in just minutes. Children love it. No more lessons and scales. It's fun and easy to play the piano the Patty Carlson way.
I enjoyed them a lot because I learned a lot. I had a good time. I didn't know that piano lessons could be so much fun.
I said, play the piano overnight? Come on, me? That's ridiculous. But I watched the tape, and the next day I was playing the piano. There were people in my apartment building passing by me. The piano's in the lobby, and they were stopping. They couldn't believe it was me.
From the very first day I saw the first tape, and I played those chords across there, that was beautiful. I knew that this was the easiest way I was going to learn how to play the piano.
I always wanted to play the piano before, but it was always a struggle. And with Patty's way, it's easy.
Over 200,000 satisfied people purchased the Play the Piano Overnight videotape for $59.95. But wait, for a limited time, you get the videotape, audio cassette, and finger charts, all for the incredible low price of only $19.95. That's a $40 savings, but you must order now. We're so sure you'll play the piano the very first time you sit down that if you're not completely delighted, return it for a full money-back refund, no questions asked. Give the gift of music to yourself, family, and friends. Order today.
To order, call 1-800-835-2552. That's 1-800-835-2552. Have your credit card ready or send a check or money order for $19.95 plus $4.95 shipping and handling to this address. Order now and save $40 off the regular price. You'll get to Play the Piano overnight videotape, audio tape, and fingering cards for just $19.95 for a limited time only.
On the average sunny weekend morning, you may find yourself having to make an agonizing decision. Golf or art? Will you go onto the green with club in hand or into the halls of a museum with guidebook in hand? But then, why choose? CBS News correspondent Bill Geist has found a way to do both.
An uncommon art exhibit has opened in New York, combining the works of some 20 contemporary artists who created pieces specifically for this show. The ambitious undertaking attempts for the first time in the art world to meld abstract expressionism and architecture with miniature golf. This fully functional miniature golf course is an art exhibit called Putt Modernism.
Even the golf balls are art. They print the truisms of renowned artist Jenny Holzer on them and charge $25 a piece. That's a lot for a golf ball, but this is art.
I mean, you never saw a golf course like this before.
It was fun doing it because while we were doing it, we also were kind of in a museum.
The par 3 16th hole is the work of Gregory Amanoff, whose works appear in the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Museum of Modern Art. His hole is a replay of the life of Elvis.
Which takes him up to, through his meeting with Colonel Parker when his mother dies, Ed Sullivan, he buys Graceland, he makes some bad movies, he goes through his youth. If you miss
Stray shots, however, can drift into hazards marking what might have been for the king.
He could have been a truck driver the rest of his life, or he could have been a lounge singer in a Ramada Inn, which would have been unfortunate, and we would have missed a great cultural opportunity.
The exhibit has been an enormous success, put together last year as a fundraiser for Artist Space, a nonprofit gallery in New York. It has attracted more than 20,000 art aficionados and athletes. Put me down for a 2.
By popular demand, they've put it up again, this time at the South Street Seaport in New York, with plans to take it on the road next year. Hole number 3 was put together by this art installer utilizing 2 significant inventions of the late 20th century, the glue gun and cheese doodles.
A lot of people come by asking if they're real. Are they real cheese doodles? I say, yes they are. But I won't let them in if it's lunchtime. It's fine art, these cheese doodles.
Actually, I think it's very beautiful.
Do you like cheese doodles? Elegant?
Elegant. Actually, yeah. It's really hard to not pop one in your mouth during the day while you're working. I mean, especially if you're working with the hot glue gun, because it melts the cheese and the smell is wonderful. It's really appetizing. It smells like a grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The artist wouldn't hazard a guess as to the market value of her work, although it's undoubtedly higher than the nutritional value.
I mean, having worked with other types of food like raisins, raw meat, raw bacon, this type of food here is definitely the most attractive to rodents that I've ever worked with.
Really?
Yeah.
You've done
seriously.
pieces with raw meat?
Yeah, They're ephemeral. I just do them for the camera.
I hope so. Yeah.
Very quickly.
2 other installers, Tony Petrarca and Stephen Ford, created their own hole. They may be installers, but they sure can talk like artists.
And it's definitely we thought about the art aspect because this is sort of what you call deconstructed. It's a postmodernist sort of approach where you show the materials, and this is our statement as art installers, construction persons, artists.
Oh my goodness, a hole-in-one. Congratulations. What prizes do we have for him?
Artist John Toriano created the par 4 14th hole titled Black Hole.
Is it great art and bad golf and great art, or how does this work?
Let's put it this way, it's a synthesis of great art and great golf.
If you do say so yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whoa! I've never seen that. I have never seen
My
that.
goodness.
It's my birthday. What can I say?
I am. Get out of here.
I love that.
Let's do a little sports interview here. How did you feel when you saw the ball go around and go into the black hole?
I said to myself, it's a tough hole, but I've been practicing. I'm up for it, pumping iron, and I knew I could do it. And we're white trash that likes art. That's sort of perfect for us.
Yes.
Some artists approach this exercise as pure fun. Others took the silliness seriously, using it as an occasion for commentary on culture and politics. Chris Clark's piece is a commentary on the government's response to the AIDS crisis.
My piece is called Blood on Your Hands, and it's really about the 12 years of neglect of the AIDS crisis in the Reagan and Bush administrations.
The ball rolls through a White House constructed of neon and AZT bottles and down a river of blood. And there is Mel Chin's par 2, number 4 hole, recreating a civilian bunker bombed in Baghdad. Pat Olesko and Ward Shelley created a hole called Sensorama, where the golfer steps up to putt and a gargantuan creature resembling Jesse Helms, the noted National Endowment of the Arts basher, rises up to create an enormous obstacle. The trick is to get past him to Pleasure Island. Asked to comment on its artistic merit, one patron of the arts remarked,
"It had a lot of hands."
In a way, it's like folk art. I mean, miniature golf really strikes a chord with America.
It was very popular during the Depression in the 30s. It might have had something to do with the Depression. I'm not a scholar on it.
Caused the Depression. The artists were challenged to come up with holes as fanciful and whimsical as those we see out along the roadsides. Some played for fun, and some played to win, while others searched for deeper meaning. Not all appreciated the aesthetic value, but in the world of modern art, that's par for the course.
We'll be back after this.
This is CBS News Up to the Minute.
I'm sort of an expert on chocolate milk. This is the one I like best, Rich Chocolate Ovaltine. It's real chocolatey, and my mom says I couldn't have picked a better chocolate.
Rich Chocolate Ovaltine is a different kind of Ovaltine with a flavor kids love, plus extra vitamins and minerals you won't find in Nestle's Quick.
There's nothing better than an ice-cold glass of Rich Chocolate Ovaltine.
Rich Chocolate Ovaltine. Extra delicious, extra nutritious.
I was going over my bank statement, and I saw that my rates had never been so low. This is all I'm earning?
Common sense says you can't always depend on yesterday's solutions.
I've got to be kidding.
Fidelity Investments, America's largest mutual fund company, has the alternatives you may be looking for.
Are you sure you don't have time for lunch?
I got to go to the bank.
Okay, I'll see you.
I was on my way to renew my CD. When I saw those rates, well, lunch sounded pretty good.
Lunch, anyone?
Fidelity Investments can offer ways to help your savings earn more.
I saw the rates on this thing.
Yeah?
I couldn't afford lunch.
That's why over 3 million people come to Fidelity for a wide range of investment choices, including mutual funds and discount brokerage. So call Fidelity now for this free guide, Common Sense Alternatives to Low Bank Rates. You'll also receive everything you need to start. Call Fidelity now at 1-800-248-1007. Fidelity Investments. Common sense. Uncommon results.
My underarms burned a lot because I get like rashes under my arms.
Ken Moskowitz is telling us about Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
It's cool. It's very drying. It absorbs a lot. Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
Gold Bond's Triple Action is the absorbing action of powder, the medicating action of a proven itch fighter, and the drying action of zinc oxide.
Gold Bond just makes me feel good when I get out of the shower. I like the product. I love it. I mean, it's great stuff.
Try Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
It was the worst train crash in Amtrak history.
One car was totally submerged. The other car was engulfed in flames.
One rescuer risked his life and emerged a hero. Another was unknown until now.
I wasn't going to leave until we all got out.
What does it take to be a hero? 48 Hours, Wednesday.
These teenage criminals are in boot camp. For many, a last chance to shape up. Do boot camps work? Eye on America goes inside to find out tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Watch CBS this morning. It's breakfast for your head.
Here are the happy birthdays for Monday, November 22nd. Senator Claiborne Pell is 75.
Comedian Rodney Dangerfield is 72.
Actor Robert Vaughn turned 61.
Comedy writer Terry Gilliam is 53.
Actor Tom Conti is 52.
Astronaut Guy Bluford is 51.
Tennis player Billie Jean King hits 50 today.
Former baseball star Greg Luzinski is 43.
Actress Jamie Lee Curtis is 35.
Actress Mariel Hemingway is 32.
And tennis player Boris Becker is 26.
In science news, Australian scientists are tracking a supernova's spectacular light show, the brightest of the last 400 years, 170,000 light years from Earth. The nova began as an explosion in a neutron star 6 years ago and has been sending out more and more radio waves ever since, allowing scientists to create this detailed model. Checking today's forecast, snow along much of the northern tier of the country, showers in parts of California, Arizona, and Utah, and expect some rain in Florida and the Carolinas. Temperatures range from 0 to 80 degrees today. It'll be colder in Great Falls, Montana than Anchorage, Alaska, 0 in Great Falls, and a high of 26 in Anchorage. The Midwest falls in the middle with temperatures in the 50s, 60s in most of the South, much warmer in Miami Beach, Florida, and Honolulu, Hawaii, 81 at Miami and 82 in Honolulu.
And there is a province in northeastern Thailand called Surin. It's known as the land of the elephants, and every November many tourists find out why. Dozens of elephants are rounded up during this month to put on a show for locals and foreign tourists. The elephant trainers get the mammals to perform in a show that features everything from soccer to a tug-of-war. The soccer match they played was definitely lukewarm, but the hundreds of onlookers seemed amazed at how agile the huge beasts are. It may not be World Cup material, but who's going to tell them? In up-to-the-minute sports, the Dallas Cowboys lost their game in Atlanta and lost running back Emmitt Smith, too. Smith departed with a bruised right thigh in the second quarter. He may play Thursday against Miami. Atlanta's Bobby Hebert threw for 3 scores, 2 of them to Mike Pritchard. In the fourth quarter, Hebert passed to Deion Sanders. Yes, the same Deion who also plays safety and outfield for the Atlanta Braves. Deion went 70 yards for this score. The Falcons won it 27-14. They're 4-1 since Deion's return. Now here's your up-to-the-minute scoreboard.
ready for a spectacular evening of heart-stopping thrills, chills, and spills as your favorite celebrity kids put their lives on the line with dangerous animal acts and amazing aerial feats. Join ringmasters Jay Thomas, Deirdre Hall, and Holly Robinson with 90210's Brooke Thies, Fresh Princess Alfonso Rivero, Roseanne's Danielle Harris, and Blossom's Joey Lawrence. The Circus of the Stars, Friday on CBS.
On the wild frontier, doctors were scarce and nearly all were men.
No one around here's ever heard of a lady doctor.
This is a story of challenge.
You trying to kill that child?
And the strength that comes from a determined will. If I don't try, he's going to die. Jane Seymour stars in a story of family. And I love you. A story of spirit.
With the courage of a warrior.
The story of Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Saturdays on CBS.
Remember when?
Did you ever separate you and Hillary?
They're the interviews.
It's none of your business if we did.
That made television history.
Did you try to kill your wife?
The revelations.
20 or 30 years of psychoanalysis.
I'm a slow learner.
The confrontations.
When I insult Elizabeth.
You bloody well have.
Go one-on-one with Mike Wallace, Bob Costas, Alan Alda, and Barbara Walters.
He's a wonderful, loving husband.
For the greatest interviews in broadcast history. November 29th.
For a woman betrayed by a husband's treachery. I trusted you. For a man branded by a dangerous past.
Didn't do anything. Don't let them put me back inside.
For lovers trapped by hypocrisy.
We're not having sex.
You slept with a stripper last night. And a sister torn between love and murder. It's time to believe in second chances. From the producers of Knots Landing and Homefront. Premieres December 2nd.
Finally this half hour, questions about Joey Buttafuoco, the Super Bowl, and the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. They're all part of this morning's edition of America's Asking.
CBS News answers your questions on America's Asking. Hello, I'm Ernie Anastas. Our first question today is about the world's most infamous auto body repairman.
My name is Carla Peduto. I'm from New York, and I was wondering if Joey Buttafuoco can have conjugal visits while he's in prison.
Last Monday, Joey Buttafuoco was sentenced to 6 months in jail for the statutory rape of Amy Fisher, who was 16 at the time. Fisher is serving 5 to 15 years for shooting Buttafuoco's wife, Mary Jo, in the head. The story of Joey and Amy's affair was made into 3 TV movies. Joey Buttafuoco is serving his sentence at the Nassau County Jail in East Meadow, New York. A spokesperson told us the jail is not set up for conjugal visits. Coming up now, a question from our phone line to challenge the sports trivia experts.
Hi, I'm Chris Ramirez, calling from Alamo, Texas. And my question is, which NFL team has gone to the Super Bowl the most?
America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, have made the most appearances in pro football's biggest game. The Cowboys made a 6th trip to the Super Bowl earlier this year, beating the Buffalo Bills 52-17 in Super Bowl 27. Dallas is 3-3 in the Super Bowl. Tied for 2nd in the number of Super Bowl appearances are the Washington Redskins and Miami Dolphins. Both have made 5 trips to the big game, with Washington winning 3 and the Dolphins 2. Now we have a question about a Thanksgiving tradition.
Hi, this is Charlie Hendricks from Auburn, Alabama. I'd like to know how much Macy's spends on the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Well, a spokesperson for Macy's tells us the parade is a gift to the people of the world, and you should never ask the price of a gift. Well, this year, 3,000 Macy's employees have volunteered their time without pay to make the 67th annual parade a success. And many are holding the lines that control those giant balloons that are the highlight of every Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. Thursday morning, the Macy's parade will be part of the Thanksgiving parade coverage right here on CBS. Now, if you have a question for America's Asking, call us at 1-800-283-2277 or write us America's Asking, CBS News, 524 West 57th Street, New York, New York, 10019. I'm Ernie Anastas for CBS News.
If you can get out of bed, you can come over to my house and watch the parade with us.
What about dinner?
Dinner, too. Jim's cooking.
Okay, good.
That's the news for this half hour.
This is CBS News Up to the Minute.
This is CBS.
Ahead on CBS News, up to the minute, American Airlines rejects mediation as the flight attendant strike enters its 5th day.
And 30 years ago today, an assassination changed the face of America.
Good morning. This is CBS News Up to the Minute. I'm Troy Roberts.
And I'm Cheryl Atkinson. Thank you for joining us. As the American Airlines flight attendant strike drags into its 5th day, the chairman of the airline says the company will hang tough. Company chairman Robert Crandall has turned down a call from the flight attendants for presidential mediation. All of this comes as the company announced that almost 2/3 of its flights will be canceled during the unusually busy Thanksgiving week. CBS News correspondent Vicki Mabry has more.
We cannot simply give in to a union which has proposed to us a contract that would cost our company $500 million a year in additional expenses.
The flight attendants union sent a letter to Crandall proposing presidential emergency mediation to end the strike. Crandall rejected that proposal as well.
I also share your enthusiasm for an early solution, but I do not think a presidential emergency board is the right answer. Instead, I suggest you suspend your strike, which will put our valued customers back on our airplanes, and that you give your membership an opportunity to vote on the final offer that our negotiating team put on the table in the last hours before you struck.
The flight attendants union says mediation by an emergency board, which has not gotten involved in an airline strike since the 1960s, would get strikers back to work immediately under terms of the old contract, while the board reviews the dispute and recommends a settlement.
We believe the National Mediation Board and President Clinton will give our offer to submit to a presidential emergency board far greater consideration than Mr. Crandall.
Crandall puts the airline's losses during the strike at more than $10 million a day and admits many customers may be lost forever. But he promises to get an average of 36% of its flights off the ground with passengers on board during the busy Thanksgiving holiday. In the meantime, the mediation board has received the flight attendants' letter and says it will begin reviewing it. Vicki Mabry, CBS News, Dallas.
The president's revised health care reform bill has been formally introduced in Congress. It hits the Hill with some minor changes, some due to drafting errors, others to try to hold down costs. Also on Capitol Hill, Democratic leaders have narrowly won the first round on campaign finance reform. Some lawmakers complain the package did not go far enough, but failed in their effort to kill it. The leadership's bill would establish voluntary ceilings on spending and contributions and limit political action committee contributions.
President Clinton is back in Washington this morning after hosting the Asian Pacific Trade Summit over the weekend in Seattle, Washington. Before he got home, he spent the day visiting California communities that were devastated by the recent wildfires. He also spoke out against violence at a Los Angeles church festival. The president said the crime bill and the Brady bill, nearing final action in Congress, quote, will make a big step toward making our streets safe.
At midday today, Dealey Plaza will once again be closed to traffic just as it was 30 years ago when President John F. Kennedy was passing through in what was supposed to be a routine presidential motorcade. The assassination became a turning point in American history. And today's commemoration will make that official. WHDH-TV reporter Ron Sanders is in Dallas. Ron?
Troy, many people who come here to Dealey Plaza feel as though they're standing right in the middle of that moment, November 22nd, 1963. And most everyone recalls where they were when President Kennedy was shot. Some of them were right here at that moment. We talked to a few of them.
A color film of the President and Mrs. Kennedy arriving at Love Field in Dallas makes that day seem as fresh as the roses the welcoming committee gave to the First Lady.
Although the President is running behind schedule, he pauses momentarily to shake a few hands.
From that point forward, for days on end it seemed, the memories turned black and white.
Something I repeat has happened in the motorcade route. Mrs. Kennedy takes him as a Secret Service man to Red Eagle on the top of the car.
Soon, Walter Cronkite told us the President had died at 1 p.m. Dallas time.
Some 38 minutes ago.
Harold Norman was looking out the 5th floor window of the Texas School Book Depository below the window from which Lee Harvey Oswald is said to have fired the deadly shots.
There are definitely 3 shots coming above us. You could hear it boom, click, click, boom, click, 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 click. Each time a trigger fell, you'd hear it, the cartridge hit the floor. So then we was wondering why, after those 3 shots fired, why everybody was running over this direction.
Norman was talking about the grassy knoll from which some people, including conspiracy theorists, believe frontal shots came. Oswald would have fired from behind the president's motorcade. Tom Allier was a local TV cameraman that day.
And I jumped out of the car with a camera and started taking pictures of people scattering in all directions.
There is, as you might expect, an eerie uneasiness here, a sense of the unresolved and the unexplained, and a terribly desperate feeling about how different the world might have been were it not for those 6 seconds here in Dallas.
Just like there's a darkness here, you know? Even though it's a beautiful day, it's still like a really dark place.
The dedication here in Dealey Plaza is scheduled for 11:30 in the morning, just about the time Air Force One touched down in Dallas 30 years ago. Among the dignitaries expected at the ceremony, Nellie Connally, widow of the late former Texas Governor John Connally, who was shot and wounded in the assassination of President Kennedy. Troy?
Ron, I think a lot of us have forgotten why Kennedy made the trip to Dallas in the first place. While he got a warm reception along the motorcade route, he had real political problems in Texas. Am I right?
He did. He was trying to patch up a rift among Texas Democrats, particularly between Senator Yarborough and the Vice President, Lyndon Johnson. And there was some disagreement about whether the two of them would even ride together in the same car. They had agreed to do that earlier in the day, and things were going fairly well. The president was trying to show everyone that they could bring the Democratic Party together. But another backdrop for the assassination was the hostile environment in Texas at the time. There were a lot of far-right wingers who didn't like President Kennedy.
Of their yearly gasoline costs. Use the card just 6 times a year and there's no annual fee. To apply for the Shell MasterCard from Chemical Bank, call 1-800-FREE-GAS.
This 6-gallon shop vac is great.
Dad, we don't have a shop.
Non-rust canister, 7-foot hose, and Kmart has it on sale.
Oh, we don't have a shop.
We have a garage.
Then why don't they call it Garage Vac?
I've been wanting this 35mm Kodak Cameo kit, and now it's on sale.
Here, it can be your early Christmas present, and you can use it for the holiday.
It can be my Thanksgiving present, and you can keep on thinking.
You know, no matter how tight our budget, at Kmart, it
seems to loosen up.
Since 1980, over 500,000 Americans who make clothing and home fashions have lost their jobs. So if you think looking for the Made in the USA label doesn't matter,
next,
it matters.
Take one Christmas Eve, add a little whimsy, stir gently, then toss in a heaping scoop of diamond walnuts. That's what holiday memories are made of.
We'll look back at the assassination of President Kennedy with Dan Rather, then see how you can master middle age.
Tomorrow on CBS This Morning, breakfast for your head.
This week, Dave welcomes Father Guido Sarducci, Coach Bobby Knight, Mary Lou Henner, Dwight Yoakam, Brian Gumble, and Penn and Teller this week.
Based on the true story, she led a team of 4 student nurses on a mission of mercy. But nothing in the operating room could prepare them for what was about to happen.
Get us out of here!
And only she could get them out in time.
Hey, nobody's dying here.
Lindsay Wagner stars Nurses on the Line, crash of Flight 7, Tuesday.
Andre and Michelle are falling in love with America and their Park Avenue Ultra. They love the stopping power of Ultra's anti-lock brakes. They love the security of Ultra's dual airbags. And they have warm feelings about Ultra's available heated driver's seat. It's going to be a wonderful tour. Andre and Michelle are in love with a car that's as good as its name. Ultra from Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
Why are all these people lined up? Milk. Steam, coffee. Cafe au lait for about $1.50 a pop, huh? Hey, couldn't they also microwave some milk and make their own at home for about a dime? Just a thought. Milk, good fast food. It does a body good. Hi, guy. Nice bathrobe. What do you got, cheese for breakfast? I see. Toasted bagel, fresh tomato, melted mozzarella cheese. Very nutritious. Hey, do you mind if I split that with you? Just a little bite? I guess you do. Cheese, good fast food for the makers of milk.
At JCPenney, one of our most impressive brands doesn't appear on any label. It's a brand as smart as Stafford. A brand as original as Arizona. And a brand as timeless as classic traditions. It's JCPenney's unique brand of value. And like classic traditions, Stafford and Arizona, our brand of value is found nowhere else in the world.
We brought you the adventure of the Little Mermaid. We brought you the romance of Beauty and the Beast.
But we're not through yet.
And now the magic of Aladdin is on video.
All right!
Own the most popular Disney movie of all time, Aladdin on video cassette.
This is for my mother, who said, Angela, can't you do anything better with your hair?
This is a Better Ultress from Clairol with the luminescent gel formula for ultimate shine, ultimate color, and the best conditioning ever.
Gorgeous hair is the best revenge.
The Waltons' Thanksgiving will continue.
Tuesday, Rescue celebrates its 200th life saved with a special episode.
Rescue 911 is why my son is here today.
A special 911 Tuesday. Thursday on a very special night, a special 2-hour episode of Murder, She Wrote, as Jessica traces a brother she thought was dead to a circus.
Just my luck to have a crack mystery writer for assistant.
But under this big top, the main attraction is murder.
In the past 24 hours, 2 people have died.
Could Jessica be the final act? Murder, She Wrote, Thursday.
This is CBS.
Spellbound perfume from Estee Lauder. Now choose any Estee Lauder fragrance and receive this 33-piece collection, including an interchangeable compact disc eyeshadow case. The coloring box, worth $150, is yours for $32.50. Estee Lauder's special holiday offer is yours at Macy's.
An exclusive interview with Joe Montana tonight on News 10. Tonight on News 10 at 11.
Hey, Thanksgiving is just around the corner, folks, but there are 2 major events happening that could affect your travel plans. Hello, I'm Alan Frio, also tonight on News 10 at 11. A family tragedy brings neighbors together for all the wrong reasons. We'll show you what happened. And he may be temporarily out of the game, but playing isn't the only thing he misses these days. News 10 goes one-on-one with Joe Montana at 11.
Join Alan Frio and Beth Ruya tonight on News 10 at 11.
The president.
Dinosaurs. Pleased to meet you. Too civilized for their time. What? Now they're having the time of their lives. Cool.
Steven Spielberg presents We're Back, a dinosaur story. Rated G. Starts Wednesday.
You realize you're one of 100 applying for this job?
Oh, yes, sir.
Good. Let's get to the terms.
Generous salary. Club membership. Car. Wait, this isn't a Mercury Sable.
It happens to be the very latest.
Latest to imitate the Sable.
Is that so?
Bottom line, no Sable, no deal.
Fine. Then I suggest,
Gordon, you see about getting my new executive vice president here a Sable.
A nice red one, Gordo.
Mercury Sable with standard dual airbags and available ABS brakes. Accept no substitutes.
Kibbles and Bits Lean. Kibbles and Bits Lean. We're a lean, mean canine machine.
What do they mean by Kibbles and Bits Lean? The great taste of Kibbles and Bits with 30% less fat than the leading dog food.
We're gonna get us some Kibbles and Bits Lean.
Listen, it's a credit card. It does not make you a superhero. Actually, maybe it does. I mean, no card is more accepted on the planet, so you can use it for practically anything, like plane tickets. So you could fly like a superhero, or at the hospital, so you'd have x-ray vision. And you can use it to get cash at ATMs all over. So in any situation, you can just say, stand back, I'll handle this. So maybe MasterCard could make you a superhero. All you need now is a secret identity. MasterCard, it's more than a credit card. It's smart money.
Every milestone deserves a new look at your insurance and financial needs with your MetLife representative. Get Met. It pays.
Mom said to share this with you. So if you want some, just say, Michael, I'd like a piece of pie.
Sara Lee pies are big, like homemade, so there's plenty to share.
Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee.
No matter how old your wood furniture may be, there's no better way to keep it looking young than with new Pledge. Because New Pledge has cleansing conditioners to gently lift the dirt, the smudges, and the fingerprints that regular dusting can leave behind. New Pledge with cleansing conditioners for beautiful wood every time you dust. From S.C. Johnson Wax.
The Waltons' Thanksgiving will continue.
Cicely's ancestors were cannibals, and the fever is sweeping town.
I'd eat you first, Dr. Fleshman. I think you want someone a little younger.
Northern Exposure Monday.
Wednesday, it's a very private anniversary.
Hey, Dad. Hi, Dad.
But where can they go to turn up the heat?
Look, honey. Steam!
All new Hearts of Fire. Then,
Did he ask you out? Yes.
is it a good idea to bring the nanny along on your first date?
I trusted you and you stole my boyfriend. I hate you.
The Nanny, right after Hearts of Fire, Wednesday.
For a woman betrayed by a husband's treachery.
I trusted you.
For a man branded by a dangerous past.
Didn't do anything. Don't let them put me back inside.
For lovers trapped by hypocrisy.
We're not having sex.
He slept with a stripper last night.
And a sister torn between love and murder. It's time to believe in second chances. From the producers of Knots Landing and Homefront. Premieres December 2nd.
This is CBS.
The birds, the bees, and the ostriches. The story at 11 o'clock.
Kraft helps you make holiday magic with Velveeta salsa dip.